I, in my stories and novels, often write about counterfeit worlds, semi-real worlds, as well as deranged private worlds, inhabited often by just one person, while meantime the other characters either remain in their own worlds throughout or are somehow drawn into one of the peculiar ones. This theme occurs in the corpus of my 27 years of writing. At no time did I have a theoretical or conscious explanation for my preoccupation with these pluriform pseudo-worlds, but now I think I understand. What I was sensing was the manifold of partially actualized realities lying tangent to what evidently is the most actualized one, the one which the majority of us, by consensus gentium, agree on.
Hey, Dickheads! This is the new Philip K. Dick podcast hosted by myself, David Agronoff, and Anthony Trevino.
That's me.
And we are engineered by Larry Hall, a.k.a. Langhorn J. Tweed. Larry?
Hello.
All right, so this is episode 0, and we're going to probably stumble a little bit, but we're basically going to just try to introduce what we're going to be doing. And this idea was hatched by the man on my left here, Anthony Trevino. How did this start, Anthony?
I was sitting around at work, not working, and being kind of bored, and I thought, man, with all the podcasts that are out there right now, it is really impressive that there wasn't one about Philip K. Dick called Dickheads. I'm already waiting for the lawsuit.
Right, and we both have Dickhead credentials in the sense that we're both big Philip K. Dick fans, all three of us, actually.
That's right.
And Anthony had already started, this kind of already started with Anthony when a couple months ago you decided you were going to read every Philip K. Dick book in order.
In order of publication, yeah.
Yeah, in order of publication, not in order of writing. And you can get the information on the order in which he wrote, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot. But this podcast is going to be us nerding the fuck out over Philip K. Dick. Now,
well, hopefully learning some new stuff along the way.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways that this show can operate. We are going to do a lot of nitty-gritty discussion of the power of Philip K. Dick's writing, his technique, the stories, and we're going to either serve as a companion piece for those who want to read along with us, or cliff notes if you want us to do all the work for you. And
but I wouldn't recommend it because we're not going to spend an entire time going over the book beat by beat.
Yeah,
it's not a book club podcast.
Right, but it like I said, it can serve a little bit as both because definitely think that there will be things to get out of the podcast if you're not reading every book with us.
Right, and one of the things I want to do with this podcast is use the books as a way of exploring Dick as a writer and as a human being.
Right.
And not just focus solely on the material of the books, because I think for PKD, a lot of, and maybe with any writer, every book has a lot of him in it.
Right, and so we're going to do, so basically the way it's going to work is we're going to read each and every Philip K. Dick novel in the order that they were published, and we're going to try to do one a month, and that gives listeners plenty of time to read along with us if you so choose. And each month we'll preview what the next book is going to be a little bit, but we're going to be reading with you because most of the times, Anthony, you've read so far the first 5?
I've read the first 5, so y'all are going to be playing some catch-up.
Yeah, and I just finished Solar Lottery, the one that we're going to be reading for next month. And I've read a couple Philip K. Dick books out of order, obviously, because I've read them in the past.
As have I. I think that I'd already read the 3 Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, Clans of the Alphane Moon, and a handful of others, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, before we decided to do this.
Right, I've read 3 Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, I've read Man in the High Castle already, I've read Scanner Darkly, Valis, many short stories. So I definitely already consider myself a serious dickhead. I've also read like Divine Invasions, which was a biography of Philip K. Dick. I've watched tons of interviews, and and if you're wondering, if you're somebody who just happened upon this and you haven't really read a lot of Philip K. Dick, maybe we should talk about why we think Philip K. Dick is so important. Anthony, why do you think Philip K. Dick is so important?
I think that PKD is important mostly because his ideas, even reading Eye in the Sky, which I can't remember the publication date, I think it was 1956, quite recently, his ideas are still unique and fresh and very timely.
Yeah. He is very much a writer of the Cold War, Cold War,
definitely.
Yeah, Cold
War.
War era, and but his ideas of paranoia and just the mind expanding what the fuck of it that you get from reading Philip K. Dick is just makes him one of the most important science fiction writers of the 20th century, let alone any century. And so I think that we're all going to learn a lot about Philip K. Dick in the process of this podcast. If you subscribe on your podcatchers to this podcast in the future and continue to listen, I think as we go through each book, we're gonna learn a lot together.
And one other thing we're gonna do is, don't worry, it's not gonna just be two dudes talking about Philip K. Dick, or three if Larry so chooses to chime in and not be our plucky engineer the entire time.
Larry, what Philip K. Dick books have you read?
Most. No, that's not true.
Sorry to put you on the spot. A bunch? Yeah, you've read Men in the High Castle, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so we're going to have other episodes, too, and we're going to have guests on.
Guests, other writers. We're hoping to reach out to Dick experts.
Yeah.
But wait, hold on a second. Larry, why do you think Philip K. Dick is important?
Mostly because of his ideas. Just like what you talked about, he's permanently relevant to anyone that has a brain, because the things he touches on are universal.
Right.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and so getting back to some of the plans...
And he's funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
Although there's some other stuff that I found in earlier works that would be slightly problematic, but we'll get into that on a book.
Yeah,
that is true.
We are definitely not going to ignore the problematic stuff. We're going to bring that up.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to get in deep, and we got some cool stuff that we want to do. Yeah. So, like David said when we opened up, is we're going to stumble a little bit, but stick around.
Yeah, and so, for example, one of the things... I know we talked about Philip K. Dick experts, but there's some other authors that are influenced by Philip K. Dick that we really want to bring on the show. I know Autumn Christian is an author here locally. I'd like to get her on. Talk to Brian Evenson about this. I'd really like to get Brian Evenson on because he's an academic.
I'd 100% want Cody to come talk to us about Dick.
Oh yeah, Cody Goodfellow. We definitely want Cody Goodfellow on the show, and we're open to suggestions of. Jim Rulin told me that Ben Laurie is a massive Philip K. Dick expert, and I looked at some of his reviews on Goodreads of Philip K. Dick books, and we definitely want to get him on the show.
We'll reach out to Ryan Bradford.
Yeah.
And if you know of people who we haven't mentioned or who it doesn't look like we might talk to, feel free to hit us up. We're pretty reachable on Facebook, Instagram, all that dumb stuff.
Right, and so we are going to set up Twitter accounts, and an email, and all that stuff for so you can connect with us. Any suggestions that you have. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some special episodes where we're going to, in between some of the books, where we're going to get into the movies that have been made from Philip K. Dick short stories. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to read the short stories. We're all going to read the short story. Like, for example, with Minority Report, we'll read the short story, and then we'll talk about the movie. So we got a bunch of those we can do, because there were tons of Philip K. Dick short stories that were turned into movies. Imposter, Adjustment Bureau, Minority Report.
I forgot about Adjustment Bureau, but we're definitely not going to make each short story episode-centric, or else this podcast would last till eternity.
No, we're definitely not going to do every short story, but I think the ones that were turned into movies are kind of important.
Did you already say Total Recall?
I did not say Total Recall, but Total Recall is important.
Total Recall. Movies that are Dick inspired.
Yeah, and we're going to try to talk about other works that are Dick inspired, including some of ours. So wait, we got this far, and we didn't say who we are. We're
I seem to remember you saying our names.
Well, I said our names, but how we got into Philip K. Dick, but we're also writers ourselves, and we have Philip K. Dick inspired work ourselves. I have a novel that I co-wrote with Ed Morris called Flesh Trade that is very Philip K. Dick inspired.
I mean, the cover looks like Dick.
It looks like Dick's face.
It
Yes,
definitely does.
and Flesh Trade is basically it's very Philip K. Dick influenced with a lot of like world building a la like Alistair Reynolds. A little bit more world building than Dick was really known for, but the story and the plot is very, very Philip K. Dick. I also have another novel coming out later this year called Goddamn Killing Machines that is 100% Philip K. Dick influenced. And Anthony, you have a novella coming out soon that's very Philip K. Dick influenced as well.
Yeah, my next novella coming from Clash, probably, I want to say winter of 2018, called The Worms of God, is 100% Philip K. Dick inspired.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to talk about how he influenced our work specifically throughout the show.
Absolutely.
All right, so those are the nitty gritties of what we're going to do. So the last thing that we have to do for this bonus preview episode is to introduce the first novel that everyone will be reading along with us. What was the first novel Philip K. Dick ever published, Anthony?
Solar Lottery.
And Solar Lottery is very prescient for our day and time because we have a moron for a president. So, who was just talking about how he could beat up the former vice president if they were in high school together. And I'm not even joking if you're in the current events when we're recording this. So that may seem like it's not relevant, but if you've read Solar Lottery, you know it is relevant.
And it's pretty relevant for a book written in 1955.
That's exactly right. 1955, which, by the way, is the same year that... Or maybe, no, that was after Matheson wrote I Am Legend. But...
Who dat?
Richard Matheson?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, right. Richard Matheson, those of you who don't know, was an amazing writer who wrote for The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And, it's really weird Phil K. Dick never wrote for The Twilight Zone. He would have been great for The Twilight Zone.
You know, what's interesting is one of the books in the first 5 that I read called The World Jones Made, and we can kind of get into this more on that episode, is almost like a Philip K. Dick Twilight Zone episode.
I'm looking forward to that one.
And for me, it's the one that probably stands out the most in the first 5 I've read. Although I got to say, Eye in the Sky was, aside from some things I could not get past, it's a really great book. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so Solar Lottery. Yeah, so Solar Lottery is his first book. It's published everywhere. You can get it on Amazon. I got it at the library. Solar Lottery was probably like the 4th or 5th book he wrote, but it's the first one he published. It was published as an ace double with alongside a Lee Brackett novel. But we'll get into more of those details, but definitely go out and read it. And so about 3 weeks to a month after we release this podcast, we're going to do the episode with Solar Lottery. But if you follow us on Twitter and or Facebook, we'll make sure that you get plenty of warning so you can listen along. And Larry or Anthony, do you have anything you want to say in this inaugural 0 episode? I hope that people find this worth listening to. I hope you learn something from it while hopefully geeking out along with us. It's definitely not going to... I'm looking at a book on the table right now which is called Philip K. Dick, Contemporary Critical Interpretations, which I'm not going to doubt has some really insightful essays, but it sounds real fucking boring. And so I just want to put it out there that we're not going to be too academic to the point of where you're feeling like in a classroom.
No, and definitely I'm assuming some of you are on the treadmill right now or doing dishes or out for a walk, and we definitely want to be a good companion for those times. For those of you who are big dickheads, and we know there's a lot of you out there, like, please, join us on this journey and read along with us. But like I said, if you don't want to read the books and you want us to do the work for you, we can be your Cliff Notes. And then I feel like if you were to not even read any of the books, but subscribe to our podcast and listen to it all the way through, you're going to learn a lot about Philip K. Dick and his importance.
And if we get something wrong, reach out. Tell us we fucked up.
Yeah.
We want to learn along with you.
Yeah, this is we're hoping to build a community here of Dick fans, and we're all in this together, reading the book, so it'll be super fun. Larry, you got anything to say?
Nope.
Nope. All right, he's just gonna be plucky engineer.
That works for me.
All right. So until next time, when we talk about Solar Lottery, thanks for joining us, and keep it paranoid.
I've been Anthony Trevino.
And I've been David Agronoff.
Stay paranoid, everybody.
Keep it paranoid.